You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Miriam Gonzalez and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Eastbound and Down After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Eastbound and Down After Show.
I want AIDS.
That's our show, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night. See you next week. See you next week. We're done.
With that said, we all know that famous for doing. We are here doing another after show on AFTERBUZZ TV. This is Eastbound and Down Season 4, Chapter 25. I'm your host, JC, and before we go any further, let us start with our wonderful panel of hosts, starting with the lovely lady to my right. Can you say the Bill Riley with tits?
Miriam Gonzalez.
And across the table,
I am not the Bill Riley with tits. Or am I? I'm Christian Rosenberg.
I'm Kellie. Hi.
And that's Kelly.
and of course, running the ones and twos, the master of disaster, the king of sting, the count of Monte Fisto. That's right, the one and only Stephen Lemieux. What's going on, Steve Roney?
The king of sting.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
It's a Rocky IV reference.
JC, I gotta say, that was a great strip club DJ impression you just gave.
Right?
Hey.
On point.
We won't get into that. We'll get in. Masters of Sex is playing in Studio B for that one.
Oh, my bad, my bad.
All right,
yes.
so, guys, before we go any further, I want to start with a segment that I call Things I Learned.
Things you learned it. Well,
Okay. Yes.
You know.
Every week we learned some new things on the show.
So, overall impressions of tonight's episode.
A lot of people have AIDS. And a lot of black kids.
Well, no,
like young black kids.
We want people with AIDS. Let's start with that.
Want to have AIDS,
But anything else that we might have picked up?
but
Kelly,
it's not the 1980s anymore. So
No.
It's not that easy to get AIDS.
And Stevie has blue eyes. And a heart on again.
And
Yes.
hold on. A round of applause for Stevie's hard on.
Yes. Woo! And you know, the wise words of Kenny Powers is the way to get that back.
Get rid of the
was
plum.
Get rid of the plum-colored shirts, new wardrobe, new attitude, and just a better overall.
spend more than
Stevie.
$6 on a haircut.
Yes, more than $6 on a haircut. Take some pride in your appearance.
And I was missing last week, so I have to say, remember, he had to have sex with, what did he call her? And Elizabeth, I love you to death. How does she live with this line? With mashed potatoes. Wow. So, I know, we got to stay away from that one. So,
I just had a cold shiver.
did you? Oh, I'm sorry, Christian. Okay. You okay?
I'll pull through. I'll pull
Stephen,
through.
can you get him a wet
I'll pull
wipe,
through.
please? Okay. All right, so let's, Miriam, you know, you moved the show from A to Z, and I love the way you do it.
So let's start from the top to bottom. I mean,
Let's do it.
We start with the opening of the show with Dixon Jean. And
Dixon Jean, that's it.
Dixon Jean.
Dixie and Jean, they
Does
are...
anybody else smell a spinoff happening? Dixon Jean.
Dixie and Jean, they're packing up from leaving the water park. Are they leaving the water park or the hotel?
Yeah.
And she notices that he has a black eye or
And a bruise along his jaw.
you know, he has a little bit of a little.
And because they were imitating Rocky IV or whatever they were doing last night.
Come on, he had like this moment of emasculation of men once again by the lovely Dixie. She gave him a countdown of 3 to come up with the truth. And sorry, Stephen, I know we're not supposed to curse, but this is context of the show. The fucker has no balls.
Talk about being emasculated.
And not only, she did the half count.
She did 2.5.
You're like 2.5. You remember when you were a little kid and I was like 1.5? Like, that's horrible.
Yeah.
She
Horrible,
emasculates
horrible.
like it's no one's business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one's business.
But he still falls to it. Like, he won't stand up for himself.
Oh no! And she calls him out even on that.
Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, we'll see if you even do that."
You know, actually, I should actually applaud them because I had a hard time liking them so far this season, and that's just a tribute to them, just how good of a character that Dixie was, and that I always mispronounce Tim Heidenlicker.
No, honey, yours.
Jeans. I had a hard time with their characters, which told me they did a great job because they weren't likable to me.
Yeah, because you're just so irritated by them. Like, oh, they're on TV. Ugh. But that's good. That's their job. We're supposed to hate them.
Okay, right. Okay, so applause to them, and hopefully we can have them on soon on the show. But before we go any further, we have to say hi to everyone watching us live on AfterBuzzTV.com. Make sure to comment, subscribe. Tell us if you like Christian's shirt, because I know I do.
My rosebuds, the Rosenberg rosebuds, are my fan base. They love my shirts.
You should start a line. I think you start a clothing line.
I'm thinking about it. They're actually beginning pondering of making a Christian Rosenberg t-shirt. That is not a joke.
Let us know what you guys think if you guys are watching us live. If not, iTunes, YouTube, once again, send us 5 stars. We really need it because last week Eastbound and Walking Dead combined for 9 million viewers.
Really?
Wow.
Yes. Walking Dead had 8.7 million. We had 300,000.
That sounds about right.
It's true. So. All right, so let's get into, I guess, was it the whole showdown between Kenny, Shayna, and Dakota? Dude, what's up with that? I mean,
I'm surprised that April let them keep Dakota.
First of all, I don't think
how was she going to get rid of him?
Well, I mean, if there's a rabid wolf in my garage, I don't know that I would necessarily just be that chill about it.
I don't think that Kenny would let them get rid of the dog.
But the fact that it hasn't even been brought up at all, I think is funny. Like, the only thing that she said was, do you really feel that's an appropriate gift for a 5-year-old? And that was like the end of it.
Does that just prove the theme of tonight's episode about being the alpha male?
Mm-hmm, I think so. Yeah, because even, as, we talk about it later, but even, like, the end of it. Like, we start out with Toby being scared to feed him, and then it ends with him being like, F you, Dakota, eat that shit.
Bringing him steak nonetheless.
Yes.
It started with chicken and ends with steak.
Yep, so it goes up. Like,
I didn't even pick that one up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't just one hand, it was both. Like, he went and he just, like, dropped it. It was like, boom.
So is Toby going to be the mini Kenny? Because, remember, Kenny...
Like father, like son.
Pretty much. No, but remember, he sees Shayna having more balls than Toby so far to this point. So is this Toby just...
I don't know if this would be better off for, like, the predictions later on, but I say sometime in this season we will see Toby riding Dakota.
Well, Kenny says in the beginning of the season that Toby is the man of the house, or he tries to be. He thinks he's the man of the house.
Which we haven't really got to see that yet, but maybe this is a foreshadowing of that, like him at the end doing that. I will love to see it. I think it's going to be hilarious.
That Toby's going to be the man of the house.
Yep.
I think he already is.
Well, the struggle, because remember, like, he saw what happened last week at the hotel. He overheard Kenny's out loud prayer, is an appropriate prayer from last week's episode. Right. And so I think it's just kind of all festering. And
absolutely. And I think, he says that Dakota is supposed to be his father, his spirit guide, and his father. So
his man, his father figure, his male figure.
I brought you dinner, Daddy. 2 raw steaks.
So maybe this is it. This is gonna make, like, this is his way of, he's on his way to manning up, and he's gonna be like a whole different little Toby.
All right. Well, speaking about manning up, let's move on to Sports Sesh.
First of all, was that not
Double Dare?
Thank you.
It was all Double Dare.
I was like, what is this? This is like straight out of the 80s.
I loved it. Double Dare with beer.
Sports analysts doing Double Dare physical challenges.
I never thought of that. I was thinking like Wipeout or something.
No. They had to grab the little flag at the end. It was all Double Dare.
All they needed was like the
slime. All they needed was slime.
Thank you.
Where was Mark Summers this week?
Oh my God.
Why couldn't they have Mark Summers be the commentator for that?
Thank you.
Steven, can you get Mark Summers next week to come in, or can you have him call in, please? We need Mark's freaking Summers here in studio.
Let me just call him up real quick.
We will have our own Double Dare here next week. We'll do teams.
Done.
We will have, Team Blue versus,
That's
I don't know.
exactly what I wrote down.
Yes.
Double Dare.
I love it.
Awesome. So, with that said, I mean, we pick up...
It's better than What Would You Do?
True.
Yes.
Is that the one with John Quinones?
No, that was the other Mark Summers Nickelodeon show.
Sorry, I missed that one. Okay.
It wasn't on very long.
Okay. So, Sports Sesh, Guy Young being, challenged
And this is a new side. I did not know that Guy was like this.
That he's such a sore loser.
Big time. And poor Jeff Forney was like, who's, what's his name? We just said it at the end of,
John Keane? Something?
the comedian.
AfterBuzzers, let us know. Watchtower Base, if you know, please let us know the actor's name of
It's
John
the
Forney.
comedian.
I thought it was John
Yeah,
Keane,
he was a
right?
stand-up from Last Comic Stand, and whose name is slipping my mind.
Miriam, you took your father to see him live.
Yeah, I took my stepdad to go see him, and he does the corn.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my goodness. We just said it at the end of the show. I was like, that's his name. Anyway. Oh, that's going to kill me.
Anyway, he won.
go on.
He won Double Dare.
And he's like totally kicking himself in the ass for winning Double Dare. We're just going to call that
Yeah, we'll just call it Double Dare. Sure.
For winning Double Dare. And because Guy Young is such a sore loser.
Okay.
And we learned this now in the show that Guy is such a sore loser. And Kenny's like, no, you know what? I totally have your back for winning this. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I have your back. And they're sitting in the dressing room at the end of Sports Sesh. And, you know, KP is just like, dude, I have your back. Don't worry about it. Fast forward, they're like now sitting in the lunchroom. KP's now having lunch with Guy Young. And they're talking about now the dragon boat race.
And they're about to become best friends.
Yeah, Kenny didn't want to rush things, but he was getting to that best friend level.
Yeah, well, he's got to be, you know, gentle with her. I mean, with Guy.
Yeah, he doesn't want to rush. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want
with his lover
to mess up. You know, he wants this one to be right.
But Guy asks him, I guess, to find a charity. And now this is one of the best.
And now we call Stevie.
Yes, AFTERBUZZ Stevie, and
No, he runs over Stevie's rocket.
Now,
Yeah.
why did the Viper not blow up?
Because it's a little rocket thing. The Viper destroyed
he,
it.
like, tipped it over and like the fuse.
It didn't shoot out. Like we didn't. I was expecting
It
something.
didn't like the fuse didn't hit all the way. And I think when he hit it, it just kind of it was.
I was
a little,
expecting
like,
something to
he
happen.
wanted his car to blow up.
Well, I wanted the rocket to shoot somewhere.
Well,
It's not that kind of show, Miriam.
that little $30 rocket will not handle a freaking Viper
well, no,
running
I
over
wanted
it.
some action. I wanted to go to the side or something.
There's so much
action, dude.
I think on behalf of JC, I can say there are so many ways we can take this, but we're just going to move on.
Moving forward.
Thank you very much, Christian. So, Stevie has to find Kenny a charity. And of course, Stevie, I guess, is a bit preoccupied because his pee-pee does not come up.
Hence the plum shirt comment.
Yes.
But, I mean, is this going to be Stevie's crux the whole season that he can't get it up?
Well, no,
Well,
he got
that's right.
that. No,
He
got
made it work today.
Yeah,
No,
so he's-
the contact lenses helped, apparently, or whatever the hell that was.
Did they
Can we
be
talk-
any bluer?
Can we talk about the contact lenses?
absolutely.
Yes.
Kind of scare me.
They scare you? I'm going out to get some after the show.
Do you guys remember? I think I don't know how old everybody is, and I'm gonna date myself, but I think like in middle school when the colored contact lenses first like came out and they were like big deal,
Yes.
and everybody had blue lenses, and it was like that color blue. I just remember like all the guys trying to have blue eyes, and they look like that ridiculous. And now, I mean, of course, back then you thought it was like super cool because it's colored contacts, but now looking at it, like it was just super ridiculous.
Well, the color that he got was just like this obnoxious blue.
It
I mean,
matched his shirt.
Is ocean blue.
I wonder if he has color
They were
contacts.
eastbound
They
and
were
down.
eastbound and down blue.
They
For
watch
sure.
the after show. Stephen
it is.
Little watches our after show, and he told them, "I need AfterBuzz TV blue contacts." Bam, all full suckle.
Now the thing is, if next week he's wearing a yellow shirt, if he'll have yellow contacts that match our mugs and microphones.
Yes.
So then,
With his polyester pleated pants.
hey, I'm wearing those right now, all right? So bite your tongue, woman. But moving on, this is only a half-hour show.
Yeah, and we're like 2 minutes into the show.
So,
All four of us are here tonight. We're having fun.
What about his kids? And I like how when Kenny gets there and the kids are like screaming and he yells, shut up. And he says, I just realized I cannot control my kids. He
Well, that was-
just realized it.
That's obvious. I mean, from the grocery store to, I mean, there's so many
But
levels.
for him to say, I just realized it, I thought that was funny.
He's about 4 or 5 years into that one.
Yeah.
this is what
Right.
happens when you miss 2 weeks, Steven. You can mute me because I love when they say dick licker, dick licker, dick licker. That's a quote from the show.
And he muted you for real.
That was perfect timing.
Yeah, and we see back at Kenny's house, he's getting his pool.
Yes.
He has the workers that are digging the pool.
He's got an army digging his pool.
He's taking pictures of him with a disposable camera. It's not even a digital camera. It's an old school Kodak disposable camera.
At first, when they flashed to him taking pictures, I thought he was taking pictures of Stevie for a minute. But when I see,
Okay.
What do you mean? Okay.
No, I'm following the story.
You know,
Because of his wardrobe change and what they were
Yes.
talking about, so him like modeling, you thought that.
I thought at first when they flashed to Kenny, I thought it was Kenny and
JC's like,
Stevie.
now I get it.
Yeah.
No, I
So
got
then
it.
they flashed to him in the pool. I was like, finally, Kenny's getting his pool. I'm super excited. And he's got all of these workers in the pool. Luckily, it wasn't the kids.
No, right? It was not the kid.
It was not the kids. And it was cute because he was like, all right, you work with that wheelbarrow.
Frolic with the wheelbarrow.
He's just so excited about this pool to the point where he goes into April's stuff, gets this brooch that was her grandmother's brooch, and uses it as an incentive to see who can dig the fastest.
He was the hardest worker yesterday, therefore he wins.
Now, my question is, the guy who was wearing the brooch, was he also wearing a pair of her sunglasses? Did you know?
It looks like it.
He looked fancy.
He looked a little too fancy with that brooch.
Yeah, he looked a little fancy. Did he have a scarf and just?
Well, I like how April just makes his face like, well, you know, what the F, but then doesn't say anything, just kind of lets it roll. You know, she's like, whatever.
Now, good thing to find out is, I wonder if the guys in the pool that were working on the pool were actually crew. Because you know how sometimes they'll put like, is it Scott, like Will Ferrell's assistant? He's actually like the AD, and they use people from the cast.
They do a lot of that. A lot of like
that'd be kinda funny.
the crew members will be extras and stuff on the show.
Why not? Absolutely. 'Cause I love that. Steven, can we get the guy who's wearing the brooch next week on the show?
Yeah, let me give him a call.
Stephen, while you're at it, can you call the rest of the cast?
Get them all in here.
Yeah.
We'll work on it for next
do a
week.
round.
Let's have a pool party here next week with the entire
Literally,
cast.
the pool party with the pool party.
That's
Yes,
right.
Why not?
absolutely. So
I can
what
get
about
everyone except the second
charity?
PA.
Oh, I love him.
Well, no, the interesting part is while the pool's being dug up, you know, April comes and she brings up the fact that she notices that Dick's is having spaghetti night without them. And she confronts, you know, Kenny about it. She's like, look, have you noticed that Jean and
Dixie.
no, not Dixie. What's the
Tell.
other guy's?
Tell.
Jean and Tell have been acting really weird. Do you know anything about this? What's going on with this? Have they said anything to you? Why are they having spaghetti night without us? I guess apparently they live across the street from them.
Yeah.
That she's noticing this now. She's feeling left out. And of course, Kenny blows it off and she's like, do you think it's because I drank too much?
And Kenny's like, you know what? I think that must be it. That must be
yes,
it.
I think because you drank too much at the water park, honey. It's all about you, not about me, kind of a thing.
Well, he was just like, yeah, I noticed her being weird, which she was when she went over to him and was like, come get your wife. So he just like played it off like that.
Absolutely. He's not going to admit to his faults and the fact that he was all about the incestuous family and the cocaine party with the creepy uncle.
Super creepy.
How awesome was that? In the brilliant writing there. With the fact that, I mean, I know I think Danny wrote this episode as well, and it's just that little moment of that lie, that cover up, that is quintessential KP Powers to its finest.
Yes.
Honestly,
Yes.
Love me my KP.
One of my two moments. That was one that you just said, and later on at the party, at the spaghetti
Oh,
party.
we'll get to that.
Yes.
But I like that after that he recognizes that she's upset, her feelings have been hurt, so he goes and says he's going to take care of it, and he goes to the golf course to go
Yes.
confront the guys. And he tells them, you know, leave the wives out of it, or leave the spouses out of it.
yes.
Leave the
But no,
spouses out of it.
I loved him driving up in the golf cart blasting death metal.
And he was stop bullying.
Yeah, stop bullying.
He's like, leave the spouses out of it, you fucking bullies.
And he's the biggest bully in the freaking planet. Good Lord. I mean,
Oh, Gene, are those your clubs? Yeah, those are mine.
And he
runs them over.
and throws the golf ball. And he doesn't even throw it that, but he like throws it over his shoulder. How are you gonna play without a ball? He like throws the ball. The other golfers are looking like, what the heck is going on over there?
I love me my KP.
Well, funny.
yes, yes, you do. So,
I do.
Now, what happened? There was so much that happened this episode. Was the party next, or am I missing some of the boat race or
No.
guy's house?
Next,
What am I missing?
The next thing was the underprivileged kids, where Stevie
Yes.
goes and shows Kenny. He's like, okay, he needed to find a charity for the
For the boat race.
race.
He
And
entrusted
so-
Stevie to help to find one.
He finds a bunch of kids at some broken down park, and it's like, help these guys.
There's like a couch, and there's like
torn up couch.
It's like torn
They're playing
up, like,
stickball.
Yeah, it's not even real baseball.
They're all wearing ripped shirts.
Yes, he's like, what did he say? In fact, you were like, I hope someone says this. He goes, I wish all these kids had AIDS, because that would make it worth
No,
it.
he said
That would make the charity worth
That would
it.
make it better was if all these kids had AIDS. Yeah, because he's like, everybody has AIDS. Why can't I have AIDS? And then they go into the whole AIDS speech.
Yeah, and Stevie's like, this isn't the 80s anymore.
Right.
Not all celebrities can get AIDS.
Now, were there any similarities on that speech? I got a little bit from season 1 when he gave that big speech to all the kids in the PE class. When he was the.
Oh, yeah.
So was that like a nod to that, perhaps, or a transition of he's still the same KP? It's a different scenario, but he's still that bleeping.
I mean, it could have been because he's got to be the leader, and that's what he was and he was the teacher and at the PE class. So it was very similar because he has to, kind of teach them something essentially. That's the whole point of this. And when he
he's
goes,
taught him nothing.
Well, he's just starting. But the funny thing is when he goes to Guy's house and they have this kind of the celebration about all of them participating, and he's like asking him, "What's the name of your charity?" And he just says, "Oh, it's just little black kids." But Stevie really has a name for it.
For the little black kids.
Stevie has a banner made, and the name of it is Kenny Powers Extra Innings After School Baseball Class.
Kelly, I love you. The fact that you picked that up, I was still stuck on the
little black kids.
Little black kids.
Little black kids charity.
But he
I feel like my chair is shrinking. I just got shorter than you somehow. Hold on.
If you guys are not watching it, please, you guys gotta watch us live.
My chair in the last 15 minutes has been slowly dropping, and I went from the tallest in the room to the shortest.
Well, no. First, when they arrived to that party, the speech that Kenny gives to April in the car is just classic. On how he wants her to conduct herself. I'm sorry. He's like,
She's a her, yes.
Yes.
They need to be elite.
They need to be elite. And he's like, do you have a napkin? And, he makes her kiss the napkin, and how they walk into the party. Now, when they get into the party, first of all, how sheer was Guy's shirt? I was like, dude, I can totally see your nipples. Could it be any more
I know,
sheer?
right, JC? Isn't that the first thought that came through your mind?
It really was.
It definitely was the first thought that came through mine.
I was like, very, very sheer shirt.
No.
And then, of course,
We didn't see it.
We didn't see a
But
thing.
it was like, because it was super tight and sheer.
it was very, very white and clear.
Yes.
Sheer.
Now that we've lost half the male demographic here.
I know. I figured the first thing that would come out that they would notice would be the drummers in thongs.
Beyond that,
With the scrotums hanging out. Yes.
Yes.
beyond
That
that,
was the waiter with the scrotum hanging out.
thank you. The one guy's nuts that was hanging out, and Kenny's like, I'm sorry, can you please put your nuts?
Pack that back in, dude.
Fix your diaper.
But one of my favorite parts is when Guy meets April, and he's like, "Oh, you look beautiful." Kisses her hand, is all very cute, and he asks Kenny, how did you get her? And he's like, "Oh, I fucked with her head for a little while. That always works."
And Guy met his wife in the bathroom.
Yeah. Yes, he
In a
met her in a
restroom.
bathroom stall.
Yep.
Was it his wife or just like a girl that he was with?
All I gotta say is
wife.
Was it his wife? Oh, okay.
both of those are teaching moments for the guys watching out there. Those are the ways to get the chicks.
I took notes.
There we go.
I did.
So, marble bags aside.
How to win my heart. Have at it.
So we got to meet. I always forget his name from Double Dare, the one who won the contest.
Forney. Oh, Forney's wife.
Forney's wife. And
Big girl.
yes,
Big girl.
Yes, and I'm surprised that they went that route with the. I thought they were going to say other things, and that was fantastic that they laid away
Yes.
from that. I
Yes.
loved it. That was great. They could have
Exactly.
taken the easy route, and
Then they didn't.
They were insulting her in a way that was absolutely not at all fitting.
Yes.
It showed exactly what his insecurities are, and that the guy is really just pissed off that he lost.
She's bringing me peach cobbler. I got this famous chef that's
Lady
coming.
Jane.
Yeah, I got
he flew in Lady Jane from LA.
Lady Jane. I don't need her peach cobbler.
And I love that if people know, Sweet Lady Jane has awesome cakes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I like Kenny. Kenny's like, oh yeah, well the Tupperware, so the presentation wasn't up to par. But he's still like trying not to really talk bad about her because he doesn't understand like where this is coming from. So he's starting to see what the other guys were saying. And he had told Forney previously that he was going to have his back. You don't worry about it. I got your back. We're castmates, showmates, whatever he called it. And now he's in this really awkward position because during that little lunch he had with Guy, he's like, you're slowly becoming my very best friend.
Yeah.
So now they're kind of on that BFF route, so he's kind of stuck in the middle between these guys because Guy is very much Kenny Powers with that ego.
Yeah.
Needs to be the best and all of that. And so that was just kind of funny to see. Like, he was trying to kind of talk smack with him, and so he talks about the Tupperware versus the wife, and I just thought that was funny.
So he was out alphaed because Guy is the alpha here.
Well, that he's the boss, so he kind of has to take a step back.
So then, I know we've only got like a few minutes left because I know we've got like Grey's Anatomy Marathon coming up next, which is a show that Kelly does. Make sure to tune in on that Thursday nights. But we got to move on to, I believe is it finally the party?
The dragon boat.
The boat race.
I thought we had the...
We were in the party.
No, we were at the party. Now we go to the boat race.
We're in the dragon boat.
Now it's the boat race where Dontel.
Wait, when is the spaghetti
Dontel
night?
Benjamin.
When is spaghetti night?
Yeah,
Spaghetti night
is after the boat race.
It was?
Yes. We're at the Dontel.
The girls know.
Yeah.
We're at the dragon boat race now,
Right.
and Dontel Benjamin is there, and now it's this whole like competition now where Guy Young is like, we have to beat Dontel Benjamin in this boat race, and this is when they're now racing, and Guy Young says to Kenny Powers, he's like, you need to push Jeff 40 off the boat.
Jeff's arms are sore.
He's
He can't keep up with the rowing.
Yes, he's like, first of all, he's like, Dontel Benjamin says to him, he's like, oh, you're stroking that paddle like it's Dontel Benjamin.
Yeah, he's talking.
He's talking all kinds of smack, and Guy Young says to him, he's like, you need to push Jeff 40 off the boat. And KP, after saying all this time to Jeff 40, I have your back, what does KP do? He pushes him.
He hesitates for a second, but then after that pushes him off, and of course they win.
Yeah.
And you guys were right. Sorry, we were wrong. The dinner did come first.
Aha!
So we had it back. The dinner did come first.
Once
Yes.
again, men have bigger brains.
Whatever.
We are
I thought it came
superior.
after.
No, it didn't. The dinner was first. So. Yeah, so either way, they won the boat race.
The guy with the loudspeaker was like, oh, they're much faster now.
Yeah, they're much faster now. Then they win. Dontel is upset, and Guy is really excited. Like, we're gonna go party after. And then Kenny looks at Forney and he kind of gives him this look. So that kind of foreshadows a little that they may be enemies.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So that was the end. So if we backtrack a little, sorry you guys, we got a little too excited.
All I
about
have
the
in
boat
here
race.
is Kenny ruined spaghetti night.
My favorite thing is before they even go across the street to the dinner party, that Kenny is sitting watching television, cradling the little robot.
He loves that thing more than Toby.
Yeah.
Saying
He
it.
is cradling the robot like a baby watching TV.
When they're watching like an episode of like Lost in Space or something like that, they were watching like a robot on TV.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And he is has a little robot, and April is upset. She's 2 weeks in a row. There's been spaghetti night that she has not been invited to, and she wants to go find out what is up and wants Kenny to go. So they head over there, and I like that she walks in. She's like, "So this will only take a second. So how have your last two dinner parties gone?
Yeah.
How's that going?" And Dixie goes toe to toe with her and is like, I feel like you're being really passive aggressive. What do you want to say? And she comes back, I'm really upset with you. And they go back and forth. Everybody starts screaming, I'm mad at you because Kenny hit my husband, and it goes all drama.
But only one person can talk in her house, so one at a time.
One at a time.
One at a time.
And of course, Kenny sits down and talks. And what does
Oh,
he
he
say?
does this so brilliantly. It's just he's like, all right, here's what happened. After everyone went to bed, we went down to the bar, had a few drinks, and met some fans. So far, could tell them complete truth. It's like, we ended up, they invited us to a party in their hotel room, and we went to it, and it was far bigger than what we anticipated, and it was getting crazy out of hand. And Gene had oral sex with someone.
You're the best actor, Christian, in the entire planet.
Yeah!
While Tell watched and jacked off.
Yeah, well, and tell jacked off during it. and Kenny, and I was trying to get him out of there. I'm like, Gene, stop. You're a happily married man. And in the front, I punched him in the jaw to try to knock him loose and get him out of there. But,
And there was cocaine.
And there was cocaine, and Gene had some of that.
Drugs?
Cocaine is drugs.
But once again, there were two parallels right there. Kenny had the option. He had a choice, and he could have said the truth, but he didn't.
And
On
April
both-
said, baby, I love you.
Because poor April thinks that she has the best guy in that whole room. That you know.
I have the honest, wholesome Kenny Powers.
Well, and if you think about it, had those guys not been douchebags and said anything about what happened, like he asked them not to.
True.
When he punched him in the face in the first place, if Gene would have been able to stand up to his wife or at least have a believable story, then dinner party wouldn't have been ruined. He wouldn't have had to move out.
Kelly's like Oprah here.
But how about?
Breaks his down.
But on top of that, how about Tell? You want to talk about guys that have been whipped? Tell won't say a thing.
No.
Kenny's like Tell, that's enough. Oh, okay.
He knows better because he will ruin Tell's marriage too.
He's not going to stand up for his best friend at all. He's like,
Well, and Kenny warned them. He told them, if you say anything, I'm going to say that you had sex with these girls. He told
Yeah,
them.
he did.
Warned
he
them.
did.
He
All
did.
Gene had to do was say, you know, Kenny and I were playing around. He hit me in the face. Whatever. Didn't have to be a little punk about it, and he'd still be living in his own house.
Are we looking at it deep enough? I'm sorry, I'm going to become in the psychoanalysis of this episode.
How
consequences.
How much deeper do you want to go?
The consequences.
The consequences of Gene and Dick's.
Gene and Dick's done. The consequence of perhaps he pushing, what's his name, Forney, over the boat. There's going to be ramifications. Now he and Dontel could merge a partnership or something. We don't know these things. I should get it. We should move on to maybe.
Yeah, let's do predictions.
Okay. Any final thoughts before we move on to predictions? No, because the music's on. Wait, we got
Toby.
one.
Well, no, we already talked about
we had Toby feeding the steaks at the
Yeah, we
end.
talked about that already.
Okay, this moment in predictions brought to you by Steven. Okay. So, ramifications, consequences of what happened tonight. Kelly.
Okay, well, we hear the voiceover say when he looks at Forney, like, you never know where your enemies can come from. And Forney looks at Kenny, and he's got, like, this weird one eyebrow up. And, you know, that could be, Forney may look like the lame and dull guy, but he may come back and really kind of, you know, be a force to reckon with. And then, you know, coming up, we'll see. And then, you know, I don't know.
Oh, Miriam's about to pass out right now. She's hashtag mind blown. Christian, what do you think? What's going to happen?
I think Tell's going to get some balls and tell it like it is finally, because he's the only one that's been silent. He's the one that hasn't said what actually happened because he's been too afraid
But do you think at this
of.
point they'll believe him? Or
I
a
think
little
at this
too
point because
too late?
well, he's the one that never speaks at all. So if he finally speaks, people would listen. You like that? You like that? Yeah. Yeah. Who's the Oprah on this side now? That's what I thought.
All right, Dr.
I
Phil.
don't know about that.
I feel like a chocolate patty, munch of cow patties. Okay, bad Dr. Phil.
That was terrible.
Terrible.
That was boo him.
Absolutely terrible.
You know what? Okay, go ahead.
I feel a Jeff Forney, Dontel Benjamin
Alliance?
Yes.
Is this Survivor?
Oh, I like that.
I feel them coming together, coming against Kenny Powers, Guy Young thing happening. Tell's not going to say something. I feel that maybe Gene might.
But who's going to believe him at this point?
Yeah, he tried to say something back, but it just got too deep. Nobody believed him. So I think he's going to come back.
Oh, yeah,
for some kind of revenge.
Gene
He
isn't
has
gone.
to.
Gene's
he
not
just
gone.
got kicked out of his house. This is like some real stuff. Like it's not a game, and I think that's going to be something interesting to see how he comes back.
I hope we
and
come back in
with it.
3 episodes and Gene's on like a coke binge with a bunch of hookers.
That would be Shane. The spirit of Shane. I know the truth.
What is the truth, JC?
The truth is, Gene is not coming back.
What?
I have inside scoop. No, I just read it off IMDb before we went on the show, so he's only in for 3 episodes, so that's why. That's my prediction. That's all I've got, because we've gone way over. We're longer than the actual show, so we're gonna wrap up. So before we go any further, or before we say goodbye, or with that said, or moving on, Kelly, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kelly with an IE079.
And the lovely Christian.
Thank you. Hey, you can find me on Twitter at CRosieVOC, and I'm also hosting The Voice AfterBuzz as well as Friday Night SmackDown.
And Bill Riley of AfterBuzz, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Miriam Gonzalez.
And Steven, what about you?
You can find me engineering all these great after shows at AFTERBUZZ TV.
And you can find me at JC Rubio TV on Instagram and the Twitter. So for Miriam, Kelly, Christian, Steven, I'm JC. We're the AfterBuzz for Eastbound. We're out.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.